Greetings, fellow audio jacks. I am Jackson Ridgeway, Jackson Redstone, Jackson 535, and today I'd like to talk about something. So there is this thing, this one particular thing about Apple, right? And I always ripped them for it. I said they removed the headphone jack, right? And I saw other people's videos, and there was this one, I think it was Applesheep or someone named like that. He's pretty big, but he started making some claims, right, about certain things, like, oh, Apple's brave for doing it, or, people are just not ready to move on. And I'd like to address those points just as a normal video. So, one, the idea that Apple would be brave to be able to do this. In my opinion, Apple is not brave by doing it. They were doing this because they knew that people were loyal to them, right? And this is kind of the whole concept of Apple. There's this one guy, I love his videos. He's a computer repair specialist down in New York. His name's Rossman, right? Shout out to him. Hi. And he has taught me a lot of things, not only confirming stuff I know about Apple, but also changing my perspective about how I look at tech, and not to be loyal to any certain brand, and that you shouldn't be a fan of a brand, you should be a fan of the product. And that's actually acceptable. You look at the iPhone 7, if people didn't like that product, they should have faulted them for it. Like he said, they should have said, no, we're not standing for this, and we're not going to buy the product because we don't like that. There's better alternatives out there. But of course, Apple has their alternatives around that, having an Apple ecosystem, and if you don't get the iPhone, then nothing will work with your Mac, and if you don't get the iPhone, then your files won't transfer because we made it incompatible per system, and, all sorts of stuff like that. Anyway, I believe they did that. Things with Apple, it's always like something to do with marketing. Knowing what they do to sabotage their customers is hideous. And to think that they did that because they were brave, that's an amazing thing. I would never thought I would hear a logical person say. So, they had to have done it, as a marketing stunt. They're trying to not only save space in their phone, but they're also trying to move you to their other stuff, or just generally do things to benefit them and not you. So that's the idea. Why am I wearing these laser glasses? I should probably answer that. Well, the reason is because with this laser, which I had in one of my previous videos, this laser, of all things, has a headphone jack. So you can just plug it in like that. It's an actual headphone jack, and it pops out, and it's amazing. It doesn't play music or anything, but I just thought it's funny that people say, "Oh, it's outdated technology." Well, tell me this: if you buy a phone, right, and maybe a year later, you don't have much money anymore, or it's hard on you to get money, and you just don't have the luxury to buy good headphones. Bluetooth headphones, Bluetooth earbuds, they tend to be pretty expensive. And you can buy, cheap-ish ones. But if you just want to use something as simple as, dollar store headphones, you're getting rid of the whole budget aspect of sound, which was so great. Despite, Apple dollar store headphones not sounding that good. So that's one thing I really don't like about them removing the headphone jack. The other thing is, the higher end of things. It's forbidding you to use things like, my Newman NDH-20 headphones here, which, I wouldn't really need to use these with a phone. But there's other kinds of products that might be smaller and people would want to use their phone, especially if using their phone for music. Now, even though I have a phone, somewhere. Right here. It's a LG $99. Does everything I could want it to do. You know, I'm more of a computer person. I can get apps, cellular text, photos. You know, I don't really get why people are so obsessed with, you know, light speed phones. It's not really that amazing of a concept to me. But the point is, this also has a headphone jack. And maybe that's just because it's a older model or a cheaper model. But that's what I like about it. I will never get a phone that doesn't have a headphone jack. Even though I don't even use music on my phone. And that's kind of fun. But it's just because it's more of a belief thing. Yeah. And my last point was that Apple removes the headphone jack. And now Samsung. You know, I used to think Samsung was pretty good. You know, I think Samsung, you know, cutting edge Android phones. But, you know, if they're removing the headphone jack, I gotta fault them for that too. That's not okay. So, I won't buy Samsungs anymore. Or maybe if they do release a better Samsung, and they also fix like those phones slowing down, and they give it the headphone jack back, maybe I will. You know, it's not all about the brand. With Bluetooth headphones, right, there's an obvious advantage to going wired. You know, there's actually two. 3, it's cheaper than buying a Bluetooth chip. Wired means it's passively driven, so it doesn't need its own battery, which would need recharged. And that would be another thing you have to keep in your mind. Oh, is my headphones charged? Is my phone charged? You know, you shouldn't have to deal with two things, in my opinion. If you can, then that's fine. And the third thing is obviously the sound quality, which, you know, Bluetooth's gotten pretty good, but it'll never be perfect compared to you know, with an audio cable. You know, it doesn't lose the signal integrity at all, no matter what. So, you know, you talk about transients and high frequencies and stuff for like audiophile headphones. You know, that's important. So, that's my take on this headphone stuff. Anybody who said that the applesheep guy, you know, stop standing up for these people. If you really think, oh, well, it might be the way to go, but I'm just not there. No, you're not insane. People who are removing the headphone jacks, you know, it's all about business and, you know, making the consumers obey the business, not the businesses obey the consumers. And that's what the businesses really want, obviously. So, that was my talk. I'm at college. If you look at my SoundCloud and stuff, I might not be uploading that frequently because I have several courses, electronics. I'm doing electronics engineering. Alright, that's me. I'm Jackson Redstone, Jackson535. And goodbye. How do I turn this thing off?